Hello everyone and welcome to Lost in the Reel. Today I will be talking about the new J-Lo romantic comedy Marry Me, which is releasing in theaters and on Peacock this Valentine's Day weekend. Is this a trip down memory lane worth taking for J-Lo fans? Let's talk about it. Marry Me is directed by Kat Quaro and written by Harper Dill, John Rogers, and Tammy Sager, based upon the graphic novel by Bobby Crosby. It stars Jennifer Lopez, Owen Wilson, Chloe Coleman, John Bradley, Sarah Silverman, and Maluma. Kat Valdez is half of the sexiest celebrity power couple on Earth with hot new music supernova Bastion. As Kat and Bastion's inescapable hit single Marry Me climbs the charts, they are about to be wed before an audience of their fans in a ceremony that will stream across multiple platforms. When Kat learns, seconds before the ceremony, that Bastion has cheated on her with her assistant, her life turns left as she has a meltdown on stage, questioning love, truth, and loyalty. As her gossamer world falls away, she locks eyes with a stranger, a face in the crowd, and in a moment of inspired insanity, Kat chooses to marry Charlie. What begins as an impulsive reaction evolves into an unexpected romance. Before I start off this review, I think it's important to note that I am a massive Jennifer Lopez fan. Not only did I grow up on her romantic comedies of the early 2000s, but I also love a lot of her music, and I am inspired by her relentless drive. So I might be a bit biased going into Marry Me. Please keep that in mind. And while I admit that this film feels like one big manufactured piece of entertainment created solely for product placement and to sell a soundtrack, it also has a genuine charm and sweetness that is undeniable. The plot of Marry Me is probably one of the most incredulous things about it, but it is also what makes it so much fun. The idea of pinning J-Lo and Owen Wilson together in a romantic relationship must be one of the craziest ideas Hollywood has come up with in a while. But for the most part, it works. There's a fish out of water aspect with Owen Wilson's Charlie being completely in over his head, thrown into this world of fame and fortune that allows him to almost be a surrogate for the audience to vicariously live through him. And this two opposite people from different worlds being brought together formula is well worn, but done to such an overblown extent here that it feels different and fresh enough. Jennifer Lopez is always able to bring such charisma and tenderness to any role, and with Kat Valdez, it's no different. This pop star living with unimaginable fame and fortune could have come off as a diva so disconnected from the real world, but Lopez is able to allow the audience to connect with this character because she instills Kat with so much heart. And I think Wilson is fine in Marry Me, but definitely plays second fiddle to Lopez and doesn't add much more to the role than just an everyman likability factor. I think any actor with an iota of charm could have played Charlie because the part is so thinly written. But even the fact that these two performers are able to get the audience to root for them to be together is a feat in and out of itself. I must say that I do wish they had a little bit more chemistry with each other, especially since Maluma and J-Lo have tons of it together. There were times I struggled to believe that there was any kind of passion between Charlie and Kat, but by the end, they had done their job of selling it to me. One thing that I was not expecting going into Marry Me is how music forward it is. Although I wouldn't necessarily call it a musical, there are a ton of original songs in the film. And while not all of them are overly memorable, they definitely are well produced and catchy. I was proudly tapping my toes and humming along through the entire duration of the movie. On My Way is probably the most effective song, a soul-stirring ballad that plays multiple multiple times throughout, and I could not get enough of it. During Marry Me, I kept thinking how much it reminded me of the Lizzie McGuire movie. Not just with the music, but also the fish out of water plot too. So I think that will give you an idea if you're gonna like this movie or not. The biggest qualm I have with this romantic comedy is that the comedy is pretty non-existent. I might have chuckled a couple of times throughout, and that's it. So if you are expecting laughs to go along with your romance, I would definitely watch Amazon Prime's I Want You Back this Valentine's Day weekend instead. Also, the movie is cheesy to a fault, but if you knew the ridiculous plot of the film going into it, then I don't think that's going to be a surprise for you anyway. Marry Me is not going to win over any naysayers of Jennifer Lopez or reignite your belief in the romantic comedy genre. But if you have a soft spot for the actress's prior work in Made in Manhattan, The Wedding Planner, or Shall We Dance, and are just looking for a movie that will make you smile from ear to ear for 2 hours, then Marry Me is a must-watch. So I will be giving Marry Me 3.25 Malumas out of 5. With an outrageous storyline, 2 very mismatched leads, shameless product placement everywhere, and a cheese factor that hits a 10 on the Richter scale, this rom-com should have never worked. But with the undeniable charm of Jennifer Lopez, some wonderful and catchy original songs, and a sweet, well-intentioned screenplay, Marry Me ends up being a real delight, but definitely only for lovers of the genre. Thank you so much for watching Lost in the Reel. I would love to hear your thoughts on Marry Me. What is your favorite J-Lo movie? And which new romantic comedy do you plan on checking out this weekend? Sound off in the comments section down below. And make sure to check out my J-Lo collab with the one and only Rachel's Reviews on the Hallmarkies podcast. A link to that will be in the description below. And until next time, my friends, take care.